Hello, everyone. How are you today? For those of you who don't know, my name's Darlene, and I'm the author of Mastering Today. Today, I wanted to talk about releasing negativity. It begins with starting with an intention. Tell yourself, I intend to engage in positive attitudes. I release old worries and fears. I use this intention every morning in the shower. I do a lot of self-talk in the shower. I always have. So that's when I do it. Of course, you pick a time that's good for you. I also do a lot of self-talk when I'm driving. Some of it is out loud, some of it is mental. I just say it over and over again in my head to make sure that I'm affirming it to myself, that I'm living it. All right, so again, it's I intend to engage in positive attitudes. I release old worries and fears. Affirm this statement to yourself. It's a proclamation that you have to fulfill to the world once you say it. You have to believe it. You have to mean it. Start your day with that. And when you feel those negative thoughts creep in, draw upon that. Say it to yourself again. Try to drown out those negative thoughts. Now, our negative thoughts do creep in many, many forms. Forms of self-judgment, expectations of disaster. The main thing when these negative thoughts creep in is to remember, don't allow it to make you worry. Don't make yourself feel guilty about it. It is just a part of what happens. Don't blame yourself. When you blame yourself, it just creates a reaction of negation. It's negative energy that you're bringing to the universe that you don't want. Rather, notice it in your mind. Recognize when that negative thought is there. If you have to draw upon your attention, do that. If you need to try to think of something that makes you happy, do that. Start to be aware of those things so that you can draw upon them when it happens. Let me give you an example. When you're starting to feel self-judgment because somebody didn't respond to a comment you made on Facebook, or you sent a thank you note and you didn't get a response. All these crazy little things that all of us have done. The best thing to do with situations like that create false judgment, self-judgment of yourself, is find the courage to ask the person. Ask them, find out what the fact is. And then from there, make an informed decision. Unless you are willing to do this and stop all that self-judgment and assuming things, you're going to have constant madness in your head. You have to have the courage to ask them. I know that seems hard, but just give it a try. You'll be surprised what happens. Many times you'll hear things that are just not anything like what you were thinking. Now, as far as worried thoughts that are disastrous to your life, let's use an example of you're worried about your home being foreclosed on. Okay, having those worried thoughts is just madness. You have to think about it like this. Unless you're served with papers, you can't do anything about it. So when you're served with papers, okay, you look at what the papers say and you go from there. If you lose your house, it's not going to be the end of your life. These things happen in life to people. But to worry about it when it hasn't got here is madness. Those are the kind of things that make you sick, that make you do crazy things. Life is just life, and once you can come to terms with that. Now, if you're more worried about what people are going to think because your house is being foreclosed on versus what you're going to do after they take your house, that's what you need to look at. If you're more worried about what the people are going to think, you got problems, because that's really the non-issue. You're into a situation where you have to look at what the problem is And once you have it in front of you, look at all the alternatives to do what you got to do. You either can try to save it, or you can walk away from it. And but in between the time that you anticipating it happening, to worry is just wasting your time. You need to be making plans for, what if it did happen, then I can do this. So to constant worry about something that hasn't arrived yet is madness. I'm going to get a drink of water. Just give me just a minute. So you got to try to take control over your thought energy. What I do when a worrisome thought comes into my head now is I gently smile. I take a deep breath, and I acknowledge it. It's here. And then I tell myself, can I do anything about it in this moment right now? Usually the answer is no. So then I can just breathe again, and I go about whatever the next thing is to do on my agenda. That's the one thing that works for me the most, is when it's like it's consuming me. I just take that deep breath, and I gently smile, and I just go, it's not here for me right now. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the things and move about my day. This isn't real. It's not here. I'm imagining it. Okay, so let's talk about exercises. When you're worried or worried thoughts creep in, I do the closing my eyes, taking a deep breath, and releasing it. It calms your nervous system. It really does. And you can do it as many times as you need to. I do yoga regularly. I love it. It has transformed my head from all the madness that used to go through it. I now recognize how to deal with it. Okay, so when you let that thought go, and then this is a great affirmation that you can tell yourself. My thoughts have real power in my life. I always choose to have power over my thoughts. Think about that a little bit. My thoughts have real power in my life. We know that's true, right? Because when they're driving you crazy, they drive you crazy. And then I always choose to have power over my thoughts. That's your power, and that's how you can stop the madness. Just remember that. My thoughts have real power in my life, and I always have the choice to have power over my thoughts. So I'll leave you with that. That's just a little bit of tidbits to deal with releasing negativity. I hope that you found this informative, and I hope you found it helpful. And please email me if you have a specific thing you want to talk about, a situation that you're dealing with. I'll be glad to tell you how I might approach it, just to help get your brain triggered and moving in the right direction. So until next time, I'm here to help keep you empowered, and I so appreciate each and every one of you. Have a beautiful day. Bye.